Hey, this is Life with Sean Renee here, back with another video. Like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. This video is about crazy roommate had it out for me. Let's watch the video, part 1. And I think there's a part 2, but there's no part 3, but there is a part 4. Let's watch the video.
Okay, I just tried to tell this story on live, but nobody was joining. So I'm gonna put it on my page. In 2020, this is who the frick did I room with type of style. I don't know if I'm gonna do multiple parts. Honestly, I'll try to keep it as condensed as possible. But in 2023, I had a crazy roommate. I had to randomly room with somebody, college of course, and this girl was so crazy. She was consistently putting my life in danger, literally, to the point where me and my father, like at the end of all of this, me and my father literally had to go to the police station and like try to file a police report against her. Let's get into it. Okay, as far as like getting how I got to like meet this girl, we went to the same school. Now, I don't know if this is like a foreign thing for other people. To me, it's like it's not normal, but it's pretty normalized that like sometimes you have to live with random people when you're in college. Obviously, like y'all go to the same school, y'all are like around the same age, but it's like housing might put you with like a random person. And at my school, like housing was very limited. So I needed somewhere to stay. This girl went to the same school as me. I texted her. We were like in contact for like a week or two, and then we ended up getting a lease together, getting an apartment together. Okay, at the time I was really excited like to move in because it was student housing, but it was off campus. So basically like I got to play house for a year, and my freshman year, this was my sophomore year of college. My freshman year of college, I was living in the freshman dorm. So like we had hecka rules, RAs, all this stuff like that. And I was young and naive. So obviously I hated that. So I was like, yes, I get to move into my own apartment. My parents were paying my rent. And so like I was just living La Viva Loca, baby. So fast forward to move-in day. Oh, I don't remember too much about like the actual move-in day. My first impression of this girl is that she was, very quiet, but off rip, I could kind of tell that we were never gonna be like friends. Like I didn't think that it was gonna turn into what it did, but like off that first meeting her, I could really tell that we weren't ever gonna kick it like super, super heavy. It didn't matter because I've always been like the type of person, like just because I don't like you, which not saying I didn't like her at first, but just because I don't like you, it doesn't have to be a problem. Like I was living with this girl. We were going to be cordial. I was going to do my thing. She was going to do her thing. Another thing about both of us is that I thought that we were both like super quiet girls. So like, both of us were like a little bit more reserved, stay to ourselves, quiet, off first impression. So I was like, yeah, this is going to work out fine, whatever. Okay, the first problem, or like before I get into the first problem, let me get into a little of like the house rules that we set, or mostly that I set, because I was dumb at this time, but I wasn't like super, super dumb. I still kind of got the fact that this was a stranger, and like obviously she has a way of doing things and I have a way of doing things. So I kind of just let her know. Basically, my main thing was that it was a standard 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment setup. So I was basically like everything that's out in the pantry, in the kitchen, in the living room, yada yada yada, you're welcome to use it, because I had my own bedroom and my own bathroom. So like anything that I wanted to keep personal to myself, I just planned on keeping it in my room. But I was like, yeah, if I get groceries or like little snacks or whatever, you're welcome to use it. The stuff in the freezer is mine, because I had my own mini fridge that I was like gonna keep my personal stuff in, but like the stuff in the freezer is off limits, and everything else you're welcome to use, because otherwise it would be my room. Oh, my one other ground rule, which I think is like pretty standard for most people, especially women living together, is that if you're gonna bring anybody in, let me know first. As soon as you know, like let me know, just give me a heads up. Like obviously I'm not gonna say yes or no, like you can't bring this person. I would just like to know who's coming in and out of my house. Thank you. Anyway, the first real problem that we had, which like looking back on this, like, oh my gosh, I was so stupid. Our like first month paying rent, right? Because I think we moved in like the middle of the other month. So like in the middle of September or August. So we had to pay like half, but like our first real full month paying rent, she was short. So basically how you were able to pay rent is that there's a portal, like you would see the whole number divided by 2. I'd pay my half, she'd pay her half. You didn't have to like, you could do it, separately, right? So I'm basically texting her like, okay, I think we had until the 3rd or something. I was like, it's the 1st, let's go and pay our little rent or whatever. And then as I'm texting her, like just laying in my bed, she knocks on my door and she asks me for $128. And I was like, okay, I had to turn my light on. But I wasn't even that like taken aback by the actual request of the money. I kind of was really pissed at the timing because I'm like, girl, like the clock strikes 12, like it's due today. And I'm a very like meticulous calculated person when it comes to that type of stuff. Like this is where we're living, you know what I mean? Like, did you just find out you didn't have the money today? Like, what's going on? I was pissed about that. So at this time, like I said, I was very non-confrontational, shy, timid. So basically I kind of just said it in a way of like, I was like asking her like, like what's going on. I was just asking follow-up questions, and I think she kind of got the vibe like, oh, she's not, I'm not gonna get this money from her as easily as I thought. So she kind of just like left it at that and came up with the money on her own, and we paid, the first month's rent on time. Now, what I regret about this situation is that, or that specific situation, is that I didn't tell my parents about that. And I feel like if I told my parents about that, they would have been like, oh, hell no. Like, I feel like they would have made me move out based off of that situation, literally, like knowing my mom and my dad. So, yeah, I didn't tell my parents about that. And we kind of just like went on about our day. Now, I will say, now, with hindsight, knowing what I know now, I would have never told this girl that my parents were paying my rent and sending me money for groceries every month, because I feel like she started like pocket watching me real hard, and that's why she was so comfortable asking me for money. Because we were both working at this time, technically, right? I did hair. I started doing hair, in college, just like as a little side hustle. And because, my parents were generous enough to take care of everything else for me, my money was my money. I was using it on stuff that a 19-year-old would use money for. Like, I was door dashing, getting Ubers, going out sometimes, like, you know what I mean? Now, because of this, I feel like old girl started pocket watching me heavy. And when I say heavy, I mean heavy. And the reason that she was also able to do this is because I was so nice to her. I would invite her out all the time, like pay for her half. Every time that I would take like an Uber to campus, I would let her know, hey, I'm leaving at this time. Like, I'm taking an Uber. Like, if you don't want to walk to campus, like, you can hop in the Uber with me. I was everything, all the groceries, like 90% of the groceries that I got were for both of us, literally. I only kept like a little bit of stuff to myself. And like I said, I would put that in my room. And then also I would sometimes pay like her half a utility as well, personally. Basically, the reason that I bring this up is that I think this girl started assuming that I was stupid and that she could get one over on me because she was taking these things for granted. And the way that I know that is that she ends up asking me for thousands of dollars. But we're going to get into that in a different part because I can tell I'm going to have to make multiple parts. What I will get into in the next part is the fact that she kept on bringing random men into the house, and not just random to me, they were random to her as well, babe. And I would.
You were clearly excited about dealing with somebody, like moving out by yourself, having to have so many rules, or whatever the case. Like, first time, moving out of your parents' house, and you're naive at some points. You were telling too much of your information, too much of your family life with this lady that you barely know, this girl you barely knew, and she took you for granted. She used you to the almighty of using you. You know what I mean? And by you telling her that your parents are paying for your apartment and stuff, so she's automatically thinking that you got money all the time, even though you're working. So she's not thinking like, oh, I mean, she don't make a lot of money, but she's like, oh yeah, yeah, you got it. You're rich. You got money. Your parents taking care of you. So I can ask her for whatever I want to ask her for. You know what I mean? Then on top of that, this lady bringing in all these different men. She don't even know them, but she bringing them into the house. And then people think that if she doing that, she thinking you're doing that too. Just because you're, living with the person, they automatically think that you're being busy. I don't know. I want part two. I don't know why I'm yawning, guys. I am so sorry. But if you watch this video all the way through, secret code word is people. Comment below. This is Life with Shauna Renee. That will know that you've already watched the whole video. Alright, bye.